His work experience includes software design, project management, civil construction, planning, mining, hydro, marketing in NTPC Limited and MNCs. His hobbies include football playing, music, traveling, reading, writing, mountaineering, yoga, and meditation. He is a heartfulness practitioner and a certified trainer since 2013 and a zonal coordinator at Heartfulness Badrinath Kedarnath Zone, Uttarakhand. Sir, it is an unnatural moment for us to have your prestigious presence in today's session. I hereby request you kindly address and cast the light of your knowledge upon us. Welcome and over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Karamveer Saab, Madhurma ma'am, Nagma ma'am, for these nice words. सारे स्टूडेंट्स ज्वाइन कर लिए हैं or should we wait or just go ahead? We have 69 participants today.
So most of students have joined. Okay. We'll start the session and let the student join if they want to.
Great. So a very warm and very beautiful good evening to all of you. And I wish that all of you are in your good health. COVID time is passing away and we are almost popping up in our campuses. हम लोग अपने universities में आ रहे हैं. तो हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छा समय है ये. और इस समय के साथ साथ ये जो प्रोग्राम्स के थ्रू आप लोग जो कुछ सीख भी रहे हैं और जो कुछ लर्न भी कर रहे हैं, जो मधुरमा मैम ने बताया कि लास्ट 3 स्पीकर्स ने 3 अलग-अलग मॉड्यूल्स और सेशंस लिए और उसमें आपको एक प्रैक्टिकल टूल भी दिया, सिर्फ एक वर्बल नॉलेज ही नहीं दिया, एक प्रैक्टिकल टूल भी दिया. वी विल टेक दैट जर्नी लिटिल अहेड. हम उस यात्रा को आगे लेके चलेंगे. But before that, I would request all the participants, जितने भी students हैं, all you all beautiful people over there in Lucknow, that I am right now in Joshimath, Uttarakhand में मैं हूँ. Its temperature is around 18-19 degree. It's a pleasing temperature, not very cold, not very hot, but little dipping towards the cold. Lucknow में I hope that you are in a good temperature. आप लोग सब शर्ट पहने हुए हैं. I am seeing Karamveer sir is wearing a shirt, so the temperature is okay. Good. So that is a nice thing to know. So for the topic today, before I get into the topic today, I will just ask a question to all the students, participants. कि आप पिछले 3 सेशंस में आप लोग अभी जुड़े हुए हैं, तो उन सेशंस में आपका जो मेन टेक अवे है वो क्या है? Just write on your chat box and tell your responses. आपका लास्ट 3 सेशन में आपको जो चीज अच्छी लगी है, जस्ट राइट इन 1 वर्ड. आप तक मैं पहुंच जाऊं और आप भी हम एक कनेक्शन हमारा बन जाए, then we can take up the session ahead. So student, I'm waiting for your responses. This is going to be a very good interactive session because relationship पे session है. तो अगर हमारा रिश्ता as a speaker और as a listener participant बनेगा नहीं तो हम आगे तो बढ़ेंगे नहीं. क्या चीज आप,
there is no right or wrong answer. You can just put a word. जो आपने 3 दिन का सेशन जैसे अभी हमने बताया, उसमें क्या चीज आपको बहुत अच्छी लगी या आपने क्या चीज पिकअप करी, अगर आप उसको शेयर करेंगे तो हमारे आज के स्पीकर उसको और आगे बढ़ाएंगे. It will help them. So please write in the chat box.
Thank you. Somebody is saying ground therapy. Ayush Mehra ji. Ayush Mehra saab, very good. You have heard about ground therapy. Yes, Verma ji is saying, sir, I learned to understand stress and reduce it. तनाव को समझा मैंने और उसे कैसे कम किया जाता है, ये सीखा. बहुत सुंदर, बेहद बहुत खूबसूरत. Practices, heartfulness. I hope that heartfulness की practices मैंने सीखी. डॉक्टर आलोक चौधरी साहब बोल रहे हैं. Akansha Sharma is saying the learning of stress management. Yes, stress management is a big buzzword nowadays and all across the world. Stress is called one of the silent killers. I've heard that some of you are psychology students and the psyche is, disturbed with the stress. Connecting with the soul. Yes. Many of the people who want to move into a relationship, they want a soulmate. But how will you find a soulmate until you are first connected with your own soul? आप अपनी सोल से ही नहीं जुड़े हैं तो दूसरी की सोल से कैसे जुड़ेंगे? So we heard about it. Yes, connecting with the soul, very important. Khushi means happiness. Thank you, Khushi. May you be happy all the time. Aditi Pathak is saying meditation and relaxation therapy. Yes, there are different kind of therapies. From your psychologist has been saying from will to power, to will to meaning, to will to live. Different kind of wills we have, human beings. Will to purpose, will to meaning. So these different kind of things are there, and these are therapies also, different kind of therapies. Meditation is a therapy. So you have learned it. That is very nice. Aditi Patil ji, रिक्वेस्ट ये भी करूंगा आप लोग अपना वीडियो भी ऑन करके रखें सो दैट आई कैन हैव अ लुक ऑन यू, मैं आपके इमोशंस पढ़ सकूं, आपके चेहरे पे क्या चल रहा है. रिलेशनशिप आगे बढ़ता है जब तक हम किसी के चेहरे पे क्या चल रहा है पढ़ेंगे नहीं, देखेंगे नहीं, हमारा रिश्ता आगे नहीं बढ़ेगा. द फर्स्ट स्टेप for the relationship is to understand what is going on over there in the emotional backup, emotional setup of a person. तो आप लोग कोशिश करें, थोड़ा वीडियो ऑन करेंगे तो आसानी होगी हमें एक दूसरे को सेशन में आगे ले जाने के लिए. Benefits of meditation, wonderful. Said who? Akansha Singh ji. Thank you, Akansha ji. Meditation and cleaning were the best. Prani Yadav ji has liked meditation and cleaning. Wonderful, wonderful. Mental well-being is very important. Yes, definitely. Tiwari Saab. Shikha Pandey saying practices of meditation and so on. Not to hate anyone because it causes cancer. Yes, the people who have been suffering from cancer, it's too much of pent-up hate. एक नफरत अंदर दबी हुई है और वो अंदर ही अंदर सेल के स्ट्रक्चर में you see the biology of the cell, it begins to create cancer in the body cannot absorb so much of hate. Your body is made to expand, to love, and you keep up those hate hormones and these cortisols and negative hormones, the body begins to react. Wonderful. So all these responses with, I think I'm good to go. इससे मैं आगे बढ़ सकता हूँ. आप लोग मेरे साथ हैं. अंजलि, श्वेता, खुशी, रितिका, प्रगति, all of you, beautiful people over there. So आप लोग सब वीडियो भी ऑन करके रखिएगा. हम बीच बीच में कुछ क्वेश्चंस आपके साथ पूछते रहेंगे. Meanwhile, just give me a second to share my slide. So is it visible to all of you? Just type a yes on the chat box if the slide is visible, I am audible, understandable. Just type a yes. Thank you everybody. Whooping yes here. Thank you. I believe that I'm audible and understandable at that end. Thank you. So we have 80 people and I request all the 80 people who are here in the participant to stay hooked to the end because मैं आपको कुछ ऐसी चीजें share करूंगा जो मेरे लिए भी बहुत लाइफ ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग थी, जो जिंदगी गेम चेंजर जिसको कहते हैं. every game has a rule. So you have to know this game of relationship. Is it a game or is it a life, a living thing? तो ये जो कुछ इसके जो एलिमेंट्स हैं, सटल एलिमेंट, नॉट ग्रॉस एलिमेंट, वो मैं आप तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश करूंगा और आप एंड तक बने रहिएगा ना. यू विल बेनिफिट अ लॉट from today's session, and this will help you to build beautiful healthy relationship. So that is the goal which I have set for myself. मैंने अपने लिए ये लक्ष्य रखा है आज कि आपको मैं कुछ ऐसी चीजें दे के जाऊं जिससे आप अपने रिश्तों को खूबसूरत बना सके, हेल्दी बना सके, बेहतर बना सके, and not just to end up in a toxic relationship. बहुत टॉक्सिक रिलेशनशिप ना हो, रिलेशनशिप हेल्दी हो. So heartful and healthy relationships. What is relationship? रिश्ता क्या है? These are the things I hope that you have already apprised yourself about. आप लोगों ने ये सब के बारे में पिछले 1-2-3 सेशन में जाना होगा कि इन प्रिंसिपल्स को हम मोटा-मोटा फॉलो करते हैं. बी प्रेजेंट हियर. आप लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद रहें. आपकी मौजूदगी, आपका प्रेजेंस इस सेशन को आगे बढ़ाने में, आपकी समझ में आपको मदद भी करेगा, मुझे भी मदद करेगा. Have fun. Let's not make it very serious. Like there is a philosopher, Nietzsche, who used to say, I am very serious about humor. मैं humor के लिए बहुत serious हूँ. So it keeps relationship very light and discussion very light. One person speaks at a time, to avoid all unnecessary chaos. एक आदमी जिसको बोलना हो एक बार बोले, बाकी लोग शांत करके उसे सुने. This is a safe space. This is a psychologically safe space. हम आपको जज नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are not observing you. We are not judging you. You are perfectly at peace with yourself. You can share your opinions. Nobody is going to judge you. Nobody is going to shoot at you कि आपने ऐसे क्यों बोला. Speak out your heart. Feel free. We learn from each other. As much as you learn from me, I also learn from you. And challenge yourself. That is the last thing, that until we challenge our own self, we will not grow. रिश्ते की शुरुआत, रिश्ते के बारे में हम बात करें, रिलेशनशिप के बारे में हम बात करें, इट इज नेसेसरी टू अंडरस्टैंड, ये जानना हमारे लिए जरूरी है कि रिश्ते से पहले हम आए कहां से. वी आर अराउंड 700 करोड़ पीपल इन दिस प्लेनेट. हम लोग 7 करोड़ के आसपास की आबादी है ना, होमोसेपियंस, these human beings who are populating this planet. But there was a time when there was no one here. कोई भी नहीं था यहाँ पे. In fact, there was a British broadcaster. There is a British broadcaster. तो उन्होंने ये बोला था कि अगर आप पूरे साल को, you would have heard about his name, उनकी फेमस सीरीज पे आती थी, डेविड एटनबरो, कि अगर आप पूरी दुनिया, पृथ्वी की पूरी लाइफ साइकिल को, अगर पूरी लाइफ स्पान को पृथ्वी के अगर एक साल में आप कंप्रेस करें, तो आप पाएंगे कि ह्यूमन लाइफ हैज स्टार्टेड 2 minutes बिफोर द मिडनाइट. 2 मिनट पहले, मिडनाइट से पहले आई है. अगर एक साल पूरी पृथ्वी की लाइफ स्पान है, और 2 मिनट में इतना उत्पात हुआ, इतना कुछ हुआ, and boom, then everything collapsed, and again the cycle started again. And life as such did not started before August. जीवन अपने आप में अगस्त से पहले शुरू नहीं हुआ. The first germ of life, which started in the ocean, in the primeval ocean. तो हम लोग एक स्टारी वर्ल्ड से, एक आकाश गंगा से घूर्णन करते हुए, घूमते 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 स्टार डस्ट की तरह इस नथिंगनेस से यहाँ पर आए हैं. We came spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust, and somehow we've been thrown into this big planet. आप लोग लखनऊ में नहीं, आप लोग पृथ्वी पे हैं. You are into a planet. This is called Lucknow, and this place is called Joshimath. So let us put ourselves into our universal scheme first to understand the basis of relationship. रिश्ता की बुनियाद को हम समझ सके. When the first human being was created, the पहला इंसान जो आया है, अलग-अलग philosophies में, अलग-अलग religion में, there are creation philosophies, and they say that the first being was produced. पहला मानव आया. He was totally alone. He came from the swamp of nothingness, from the non-being of nothingness. And that non-being of nothingness से जब वो आया, he was alone. She was alone. And just imagine, just आप सोचिए कि आप इस निर्जन द्वीप में अकेले हो. Imagine you are all alone, and whole humanity has disappeared. How will you feel? कैसा feel करोगे आप? Can some of you write your responses on the chat box? My question is, imagine you are alone and the whole humanity is disappeared. कोई नहीं है आपके साथ, आप अकेले हो. कैसा feel करोगे आप? डर, अकेलापन, boredom, what will you feel? I'm waiting for your answer. Yes, Verma is saying, I will feel totally blank. Scary. Yes, someone is. It would be very scary. I would feel nothing. I had no knowledge of humanity. Ayush Mishra. Thank you. Feel lonely. Existential crisis. Yes, a kind of crisis, existential crisis. कौन हूँ मैं, कहाँ किससे बात करूँ? Alone. Where to start? शुरू कहाँ से करें? Wonderful. Gaurav Saab, thank you very much. Scary. So many will feel scary. Now look at this phenomena, when at some point of time in the history of civilization, there would be one person, and then from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then 3 to many. And now we are 700 crores. Now we are talking about relationship. हम अब एक दूसरे से रिश्ते के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. There is a famous shloka in the Upanishad. It says, "Sa ekaki na ramte." at some point of time, this is a beautiful picture of a mountain. It's a second highest mountain in India after Kanchenjunga. Can anybody write on the chat box what is the second highest mountain in our country, India? Anybody? Second highest mountain in our country. Not K2. K2 is not in India. K2 is, Gaurav Saab, no. Anyway, it is Nanda Devi. Nanda Devi is in Uttarakhand. So it's Nanda Devi. It's around it's between 6,000 to 7,000 meters. 6 kilometers, 7 kilometers each man. Mount Everest is around 9 kilometers, 8,848 meters. So at some point of time when your planets were formed, your universe was formed, and then life came into being, there would be some being who was alone. कोई था जो एकदम अकेले था. तो उन्होंने कहा कि सृष्टि का निर्माण क्यों किया? Why to multiply? क्या अकेले life चल नहीं सकती? So they wrote in their height of thinking, in their vision, that whosoever was that being who created this universe, who created humanity, who created this huge population, he was alone at that time. अकेला था वो. और वो अकेले क्या हो गया? He was bored. And he said, "Sa ekaki na ramte." अकेले हमारा दिल नहीं लगता. And then he created something out of himself or herself. And then two were being. फिर दो में उनको अकेलापन नहीं महसूस हुआ. And they were not feeling scary. At some of आप से कुछ लोगों ने बोला कि हम स्कैरी फील करते हैं. ये हकीकत भी है. अकेलापन एक तरीके का, मतलब आदमी सोचता है कि हम कहाँ हैं, क्या है ना, एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस. तो वो जो एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस जो थी घटी शुरुआत में, उसका निराकरण करने के लिए उन्होंने रिलेशनशिप की नींव डाली और सृष्टि चल पड़ी. सही कहा कि नरम. So let me become 2, let me become 3, let me become 4. Let me make a family. Let me make a relationship. So that way, that being was not bored. वो जो इंसान था शुरुआत में, सृष्टि के शुरुआत में, वो बोर नहीं हुआ. Because he was bored being alone. अकेले वो ध्यान करते करते बैठा हुआ. Somebody is sitting in Himalaya meditating. How long? कितने देर तक? Well, जब उनकी ये बोरियत दूर हुई, तो समस्याएं भी आई. मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा सभी लोगों से कि अपना माइक म्यूट रखें, या आई थिंक आई विल take that permission for the timing. I've taken the permission from you to. I've muted all of you. Anyway, तो फिर क्या हुआ कि जब भीड़ हो गई, there was a huge human population. Then came relationship. पहले तो अकेलापन था, अब 2 आए 3 आए, तो अब जब पॉपुलेशन बढ़ने लगी तो समस्या आ गई, रिलेशनशिप. So just imagine now at this condition कि आप इतने लोगों के बीच में रहते हैं. कहने के लिए तो आप इतने लोगों के, इतनी भीड़ आपके साथ चलती है, लेकिन अगर आप गौर से देखें तो आप अकेले ही हैं. You are all alone in yourself. You are all alone. यहाँ पर करीबन 83 लोग हम लोग जुड़े हुए हैं इस सेशन में, बट हम लोग सब अपने अपने आइलैंड में हैं. हम लोग अपने अपनी इनसाइड द स्कल, अपनी अपनी दुनिया में हैं. हम लोग सब अपनी अपनी दुनिया में. हम लोग तो अपनी अपनी दुनिया में रहने के बावजूद भी जब हम एक क्राइसिस के मूवमेंट में आते हैं, जब हम कहीं फंसे हैं, लाइफ की एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आ गई है जहां पर हम बाहर नहीं निकल पा रहे, तो दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू. हु इज दैट वन पर्सन? वो कौन ऐसा इंसान है, कौन ऐसा शख्स है that comes in your mind, in your heart when you are in a life crisis? ऐसा कौन सा वो इंसान है जो आपको पहले मन में आता है? इस क्वेश्चन का आप चैट बॉक्स पे थोड़ा जवाब लिखिएगा, फिर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. माँ, my mom, most of my father, she's saying my father, mother, mom, dad, both, Sonika, wonderful. Parents, father, my sister, God. Bharti Singh ji saying God. Bharti ji, yes, we will explore that also. We don't know who this God is. We have never seen him. All we have seen till now is, our parents, first of all, maybe friends, you. God kahan hai, kya hai, abhi malum nahi. Let us start with the with those whom you can see. Parents. Mostly I'm getting is parents. Wonderful. Great. Thank you very much. I have been asking this question in a number of our sessions, and mostly they have been saying, ज़्यादातर उत्तर इसमें यही आता है कि mother, father. Somebody has also responded कि spouse. If I could get a little more response, कुछ और response अगर मुझे मिल जाए, something different from parents. Anybody who thinks of somebody else, God भी नहीं, God हो गया, we got one response. No one. RB is saying no one. No one comes into my mind. Wonderful. चलो, ये भी एक बात है. My own self. खुशी is saying my own self. Thank you very much for that response. मेरा अपना स्व मुझे अपने पहले ख्याल में आता है. My child, myself. अनामिका चौरसिया जी. Thank you. Now I have good basket of responses. अब आप देखिए, एक ऐसा इंसान जो हमारे अकेलेपन को, हमारे दुख को, हमारी परेशानी को सॉल्व करे, उसकी तलाश तो दिल में हमेशा रहती ही रहती है. अगर आप खुश भी हैं, even if you are happy, still you want to share that happiness with someone. आप चाहते हैं कि उस खुशी को किसी के साथ शेयर करें, वरना आप अपनी वेल्थ का, अपने नॉलेज का क्या करेंगे आप? What will you do with that? Why is it given to you? आपको क्यों दी गई हो? स्कूलों में हम पढ़ते थे, जब छोटे थे, बच्चे थे, तो स्कूलों में हिंदी मीडियम स्कूल्स में लिखा रहता था इधर लेफ्ट साइड में, सेवार्थ शिक्षार्थ आइए, सेवार्थ जाइए. The first part we do, we come for education. You are into Lucknow University. शिक्षा के लिए आप आए हो, different subjects. सेवार्थ जाइए. सेकंड वाला पार्ट हम लोग ऑलमोस्ट भूल जाते हैं, कुछ लोग करते हैं. So some people find meaning in it, to serve their fellow beings. अपने साथ के लोगों को सर्व करना. But nevertheless, when we talk about relationship, जब हम रिश्ते की बात करते हैं और हम एक ऐसे इंसान की बात करते हैं जो हमेशा हमारे साथ रहे, जो हमें हमेशा मुश्किल वक्त में हमें सहारा दे, then we talk about someone who is very close, who does not judge us, जो हमें जज नहीं करता, जो हमें किसी भी परिस्थिति में जज नहीं करता. तो उस पर्सन की एक तलाश हमेशा रहती है. हमें नहीं मालूम वो कौन है, वो कब हमारे सामने प्रकट होगा, लेकिन अभी हम सोचते हैं कि वो शायद हमारे पेरेंट्स हैं या हमारे बच्चे हैं. whatever they come in our mind, nothing wrong with it, it's good. To be or not to be is the question. That is the question, said Shakespeare. अगर हम हैं, if we exist existentially, चौधरी साहब वो saying existential crisis, अगर हम हैं, हम exist करते हैं, तो हमें अपने अस्तित्व का भान कैसे होता? How do we realize that we are? A stone does not know that I exist. An animal may be a little more. Animal may know that I exist, but a human being has this special capacity to know his own existence, to intuit his own existence, her own existence, and also suffer, be happy. This whole range of emotions are there in human beings. So the question is, when I give space to other person, my existence begin to annihilate, not annihilate, but negate. मैं अपने आप को पीछे खींचने लगता हूँ. जब कोई और उस कमरे में रह सके, तो उस स्पेस को बढ़ाने के लिए मैं अपने एग्जिस्टेंस को पीछे खींचता हूँ, सेल्फ की तरफ. And then when I form different kind of relationship with that self, किसका सेल्फ बहुत बड़ा है, किसी का सेल्फ बहुत छोटा है, किसी का ईगो बहुत बड़ा है, किसी का ईगो बहुत छोटा है, तो वो लोग अलग अलग तरीके से रिश्ते निभाते हैं. But every self, every existence which is manifested in human being has a boundary. कहते हैं ना, क्या हम आपको अपने स्पेस में नहीं घुसने देंगे. किसने आपको इजाजत दी है कि हमारे पर्सनल स्पेस में आप आ जाओ? सो अलग अलग हमारी बाउंड्रीज हैं सेल्फ की, रिलेशनशिप के लिए. जिन लोगों के साथ हमारा बहुत दूर का नाता है, उन्हें हम स्ट्रेंजर्स कहते हैं. कभी कभी हम मिलते हैं उनसे, अजनबी. उनसे हम कभी कभी मिलते हैं, जैसे हम किसी यात्रा पे जा रहे हैं, बस में जा रहे हैं, गोइंग समवेयर. यू ऑल आर इन कॉलेज, यू आर नॉट स्ट्रेंजर्स. आप जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स आपस में आप स्ट्रेंजर्स नहीं है. यू आर एक्विंटेंसेस, फ्रेंड्स, क्योंकि आपकी सेल्फ की बाउंड्री उनको इन्वॉल्व कर रही है अपने सेल्फ में. यू हैव इन्वॉल्व देम इन योर सेल्फ. सो फ्रॉम स्ट्रेंजर to the acquaintances, the boundary of the self is increasing. It is enveloping them. Friends, a little more intimacy. उनके साथ हमारी इंटीमेसी थोड़ी ज्यादा है. उनके साथ हम अपना ज्यादा वक्त जाया करते हैं, अपना ज्यादा समय व्यतीत करते हैं. And then comes family. Family is an emotional need. हमारी भावनाओं की, हमारी व्यक्तित्व की के निर्माण में परिवार का एक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान होता है. हम लोग नौकरी करते हैं, कुछ भी करते हैं, हम लोग किसके लिए कमाते हैं? हम कहते हैं हम अपनी फैमिली के लिए कमा रहे हैं. We are doing all this thing to serve our family. So in the family, the bonds of intimacy are deeper. आप फैमिली में जैसे एक मदर है, you know, if when a mother tells her daughter, एक अपनी मदर अपनी डॉटर को बोलती है, बेटे को बोलती है, गुस्से में भी बोलती है, go to hell. See, the child knows कि she do not mean it. वो उनको इससे मतलब नहीं है, उन्होंने बोल दिया गुस्से में, but you come back. But when a person, a stranger, or maybe an acquaintance say to you, go to hell, you the scissors are out, you will immediately rebut. It will be a rebuttal. क्योंकि आप लोगों ने, हम लोगों ने उनके साथ वो स्पेस उनको नहीं दिया हुआ है. When relationship becomes more closer, very, very close, it becomes very intimate relationship. And when there is intimacy, when two persons become so close to each other, एक दूसरे के इतने जब करीब आते हैं, तो वो एक intimate relationship बन जाता है. And unless we have one intimate relationship in this world, I don't think we could be very, very happy, because it is a fundamental need to be related. Like Jiddu Krishnamurti used to say, to be is to be related. We see ourselves in the mirror of relationship. रिश्ते के आईनों में हम अपने आप को प्रतिबिंबित करते हुए देखते हैं. हम अपने आप को डिस्कवर करते हैं. We discover ourselves in each other's relationship. वरना आप डिस्कवर कैसे करेंगे? आप अपने आप को, अपने बारे में जानेंगे ही नहीं. फर्ज करिए जिस जमाना था जब शीशा ही नहीं था, there was no mirror. किसी को अपनी शकल का पता नहीं था कि मेरी शकल कैसी है. जब से शीशा आया, जब से ये स्क्रीन के सामने आप बैठे हैं, आप अपनी शकल देख सकते हैं. You can see your face. Similarly, जब कोई इंसान आपके सामने आता है, एक दोस्त आया, तो उसके चेहरे पर जो आपके साथ इंटरेक्ट करके जो इमोशन आ रहा है, that is you. आप हैं वो. So that relationship becomes a means to discover yourself. And when you free your boundary, when you increase your boundary from a small family to, maybe Lucknow University College, in your particular department, then you begin to, set the circle free. Then you enlarge your boundaries. And at the center of this whole wheel is the self. जो स्व है, जो सृष्टि के निर्माण से पहले भी था, अकेला, जो इतना मल्टीप्लाई हो गया है, वो केंद्र में बैठा हुआ है ना, आपके सेंटर में, जिससे आप लोगों ने कल कनेक्ट करना भी सीखा पिछले सेशन में. That is the foundation of relationship. That is the being. Human being is not one. हम लोग एक नहीं है. We are two. Man is a bipolar being, said one of the guides of the Heartfulness. Man is a bipolar being. He has two persons with him. वरना जब आप अकेले रहते हैं, आप बात किससे करते हैं? आंख बंद करके बैठते हैं, अकेले अकेले ख्यालों में रहते हैं बने हुए, मैं ऐसा करूंगा, वैसा करूंगा. किससे बात हो रही है आपकी? You are talking to your inner self. You cannot understand its existence. आप उसके अस्तित्व को नहीं जान सकते, लेकिन आप उसके साथ हमेशा उठते हैं, जीते हैं, खाते हैं, पीते हैं. वो हमेशा आपके साथ है. सेल्फ, द इनर सेल्फ इज विद इन यू. जो ये स्व है वो आपके भीतर है, बट यू आर नॉट विद इन यूर सेल्फ. लेकिन हम उस सेल्फ के भीतर नहीं है. एंड फॉर दैट मेडिटेशन इज नीडेड. हम लोग उस स्व के दायरे में आने के लिए, उसकी बाउंड्री में आने के लिए ध्यान करते हैं, ताकि हमारा भी उसके साथ संपर्क हो जाए। उसका तो हमारे साथ संपर्क है ही है। So it should be a two-way process. And when I begin to understand myself, then I begin to understand the root of the relationship. Relationship starts from my own self with my inner self. जो मेरा अपने स्व के साथ बिहेवियर है, वही बिहेवियर मेरा बाहर दूसरे लोगों के साथ होने वाला है. This is what psychology says. Now, to build up a relationship with an outward person, first I have to build a relationship with the person who is seated inside me. उस इंसान के साथ, उस शख्स के साथ मैं अपना रिश्ता मजबूत बनाना चाहता हूं. So how is that connection? वो जो connection है ना, हम लोग कहते हैं कि हमारे पास that guy has connections, we have connections. He knows so many people. बहुत सारे लोगों को जानता है, लेकिन वक्त के टाइम पे कोई काम नहीं आएगा. But if you have one connection, अगर आपके पास एक ऐसा कनेक्शन है जिसको आप जब बुलाओ तब आए, कॉल पे आ जाए, लिविंग एवरीथिंग फॉर द वर्ल्ड, कैसी भी परिस्थिति वो आपके पास आई, ऐसा एक कनेक्शन, ऐसा एक रिलेशनशिप हम सब ढूंढते हैं. इट इज सीटेड इन द डीपेस्ट डिजायर ऑफ अवर हार्ट. फॉर सच ए बीइंग, ऐसे एक इंसान के साथ हमारा फीलिंग और इमोशंस का नाता है. द कनेक्शन इज फाउंड not just physically, mentally, but at a deeper level, at the level of feeling and emotion. जहां ये फीलिंग और इमोशंस मजबूत नहीं है, वहां पर इस तरीके का रिश्ता बन नहीं सकता. अब वो लोग आपस में बात करें या ना करें, इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. वो लोग 50 साल तक भी दूर रहें, इससे भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. लेकिन रिश्ता है, क्योंकि आपने फीलिंग्स में उसको संभाल के रखा हुआ है. आपने सुना होगा ना, हमारे मोबाइल में कई सारे नंबर ऐसे होते हैं जो ना तो डिलीट होते हैं, ना उनसे कभी बात होती है, लेकिन है कभी बात होगी, गॉड नोज, बट वी डोंट टॉक टू देम, बट दे आर देयर इन द लिस्ट. क्यों? न जाने कब उनसे बात होगी. एनीवे, लेट्स मूव अहेड. सो द बेसिस ऑफ रिलेशनशिप, ए हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप, इज अबाउट इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. जो लोग इमोशनली रिच हैं, जो लोग इमोशनली परिपूर्ण हैं, भावों से भरे हुए हैं, जो भरा नहीं हो भावों से, जिसमें बहती रसधार नहीं है, वन हु इज नॉट फिल्ड विद इमोशन, वन हु हैज नो इमोशंस, फीलिंग्स, ही इज अ स्टोन. उसके इंसान के अंदर कुछ भी नहीं है. उससे आप कैसे, हम बोलते हैं वो तो एक दीवार से आप बात कर रहे हो. बट व्हाट गिव्स अस इमोशन? वेयर इज द सीट ऑफ इमोशन? ये भावनाओं की, इस इमोशंस की सीट क्या है? कहां पर हम लोग जुड़े हुए? तो दैट इज द सीट विच लास्ट के पिछले 3 सेशनों में भी आप लोगों ने सुना होगा. बट अंटिल यू मेक ए पार्टनरशिप, ए ब्यूटिफुल पार्टनरशिप बिटवीन योर ब्रेन एंड योर हार्ट, तब तक इस इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का बल्ब नहीं जलेगा. योर ब्रेन इज अ कंप्यूटर. यू हैव हर्ड, 3 सेशंस में आपने सुना होगा. It is a calculative device. It knows transaction. But your heart is the seat of emotion. Your heart is just not a pump. The metaphor of the heart still remains even after the scientific advancement of medical technology. आज की डेट में हार्ट कार्डिक साइंसेस इतनी आगे बढ़ गई है. Now they are saying कि we have reached almost to the saturation of cardiological sciences. Heart transplant भी होने लगा. Physical heart has been transplanted. You would have heard about Jarvik ever. We put pacemakers in our heart. We put defibrillator in your heart. आपको मालूम है, आपकी जो दिल की धड़कन है, हर एक धड़कन जब चालू होती है तो एक पेसमेकर, एक SA नोड आपके हार्ट में होता है, वो हर एक पल्स को शुरू करता है. Every pulse is started by a pacemaker. That is natural pacemaker in your heart, and it is a beautiful design. उससे आपकी धड़कन चलती है. लेकिन किसी ने अचानक आपको बताया कि किसी आपके बहुत करीबी इंसान की तबीयत खराब हो गई, तो क्या होगा, एकदम से आपकी जो हार्ट बीट 60-70 चल रही है वो एकदम से सूट अप करके 90 पहुंच जाती है। एक ख्याल आपकी पूरी धड़कन की रेट को बढ़ा देता है 1 सेकंड में। कैन यू बिलीव हाउ पावरफुल योर हार्ट इज? It is one of the most powerful oscillator in your whole body. It controls your whole body. It sets itself into the motion. आपके जो lungs हैं, गुर्दे हैं, आपका digestion system कौन चला रहा है? If this heart is not there, you might forget breathing. आप तो सांस लेना भूल जाएंगे, खेल खत्म. So those essential control are not given to us. They are taken by some higher intelligence. That intelligence which we begin to understand, which we begin to touch, when we begin to commune with that personality, with that being who is sitting inside us through the heart. Our heart is the via media. अब वो जो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस है जो हमारे हार्ट में पल पल बदल रहा है, उस पर आपने सुना होगा, डेनियल गोलमैन ने किताब लिखी थी ऑलमोस्ट इन 20th century, emotional intelligence. It has started a new science in the management colleges. Until you are emotionally intelligent, how will you build relationship? आपको पता ही नहीं है सामने वाला गुस्सा हो गया और आप उसको बोले जा रहे हो. You have to be emotionally intelligent to understand what feelings are going on in that person. And that intelligence grows when we tune into our intuition. When intuition, heart is the seat of our intuition. तो वहां से हम लोग जो पल जो एक सेकंड में जो बदल रहा है इमोशन. अभी आप जस्ट फर्ज करिए, जस्ट क्लोज योर आईज. व्हाट आर यू फीलिंग? आंख बंद करिए, क्या फील कर रहे हैं आप? Just close your eyes for 10 seconds and write down in the chat box what you are feeling. क्या इमोशन चल रहा है आपके अंदर? You will see. You need to recognize it. You can write down in your chat box. And some of you, please, I'm reading in the chat box. आप क्या फील कर रहे हैं? Flabbergasted. Ayush Misra. Thank you. Gaurav, खुशी, all, where have they gone? वो लोग सब कहाँ चले गए? I want all the answers from all of you. सोनिका, आयुष, आकांक्षा, प्लीज राइट योर रिस्पॉन्स. आप लोग क्या फील कर रहे हैं अभी? what is the emotion in reading in your heart? Please write. Neutral. Thank you. Nothing. Just calm. Anyone else? Few prejudices are conflicting. Okay, wonderful. Ayush Misra, please keep on looking at your heart. They'll keep on changing. I am feeling curious. It is a real time thing which is going on. Keep on looking. Excited to learn. Astonished. Nothing, sir. सबके दिल में एक अलग अलग इमोशन चल रहा है. कोई एस्टोनिश्ड है. क्यों? हम हैं तो एक जैसे हम लोग. किसी के दिल में कुछ भी नहीं चल रहा. Nothing. Some are relaxed. Why? So how do we, become master of emotional management? So that we can, make healthy relationship with each other. We can form very deep and intimate relationship. Nowadays, psychologists suggest you, even in Heartfulness, we suggest that you keep a diary with yourself. There are beautiful journals of psychology. There are beautiful journals of medical sciences in this world, scientifically driven world, where either you publish or you perish. Your professional health depends on how much journals you have published, how many articles you have published in the world-renowned journals. तो एक ऐसा ही जर्नल हम लोग बनाते हैं जिसको हम कहते हैं सेल्फ जर्नल, है ना. हम लोग उस सेल्फ को जानने की कोशिश करते हैं. दैट इज द सेंटर ऑफ आवर लाइफ. एंड टू मेक दैट वी मेक ए इमोशनल डायरी. हम लोग अपने इमोशंस को जानने के लिए, पहचानने के लिए, ताकि हम अपने रिश्तों को बेहतर बना सकें, लिखने लगते हैं. एक डायरी बनाते हैं. Just a question to you. Can you imagine how many emotions, human emotions, are there written? For that emotion, there is a word. Can you imagine how many emotions are there? Just write on a chat box. कितने emotions होते हैं? Human emotions. आकांक्षा, शिखा, संजय कुमार जी, I'm waiting for all your responses. लगभग गेस मारिए, ब्लाइंड गेस. कितने इमोशंस होते हैं? 3, 9. Priya Singh ji is saying 3. Gaurav is saying 3. Uncountable. Muskan is saying uncountable. 6 universal and many more in general. Shivani is saying too many. Yash Verma. Great, great, great. No idea. Yes. Wonderful. So we need to get an idea about how many emotions we have. Emotions are just chemicals. You have heard about oxytocin. Huh? I think your last few sessions you would have heard about oxytocin. Oxytocin is called the love hormone. So does love is produced by the hormone, or is the hormone produced by the love? That is the catch-22 question to you. And just think about it. Emotions, chemicals, is it a chemical locha? Is it all about chemistry? हम कहते हैं ना उस इंसान के साथ हमारी केमिस्ट्री मैच नहीं कर रही है. What do you mean? हार्मोन्स मैच नहीं कर रहे हैं या इमोशंस मैच नहीं कर रहे हैं? पहले हार्मोन आया या इमोशन आया? पहले थॉट आया या हार्मोन आया? That is something for you to think. Serotonin, serotonin is one hormone, which is a hormone necessary for sleep. Dopamine, dopamine, it gives you energy. Serotonin is such a hormone. Now you would have heard about beauty sleep. कई लोग सोते हैं. When beauty pageants go to their competition, वो लोग घंटे सोते हैं. उससे serotonin का secretion होता है, and your face begin to glow. Yes, melatonin. Yes, wonderful. Melatonin is the growth. Yes, Verma ji. Thank you. Serotonin secretes melatonin. Wonderful. So Ayush Misra is saying, sir, I think thought came first. Thank you, Ayush Misra ji. Wonderful. But our emotional states elates it. मैं आप लोगों को सबसे पहले यहाँ पे एक चीज मैं शेयर करना चाहता हूँ कि there is a difference between feeling and emotion. There is a critical difference between feeling and emotion. They are not same. Emotion is a raw data. Feeling is something when an emotion is understood, that becomes a feeling. For example, I'll tell you, you see someone and you fall in love with that person, immediately you fall in love. But आपको समझ में बाद में आता है कि आपको प्यार हो गया. You are in love when you understand that emotion. Emotions change very fast. It is very difficult for human being to track those emotions. So as on now, I'll tell you, around 30,000 written emotions has been found. 30,000. And how many emotions we know? And how much aware we are about those emotions. If you will see your own self, observe your own self, then you'll see these emotions are sometimes which drags our energy. They suck our energy. And there are some emotions which elevates our mood. Those emotions which elevate our moods, our relationships are valued in a positive relationship. The relationship is not getting toxic. These positive emotions, initially they used to say there are only two emotions, love and fear. Bhai bin ho na preet. There was love and there was fear. Somebody used to say. And then the next theory came that there are 8 classical emotions. And then they said there are some primary emotions and there are some secondary emotions. When you join 2 emotions, it becomes a secondary emotion. This love plus compassion is equal to something else. Love plus joy is equal to something else. These derived emotions. So at this point of time, I want to leave you this feeling. मैं आपको ये चीज शेयर करना चाह रहा हूँ कि until आप अपनी इमोशनल डायरी बनाएं, आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा कि आपके अंदर क्या इमोशंस चल रहा है. और जब तक आपको ये समझ में नहीं आएगा कि आपके अंदर क्या इमोशन चल रहा है, not feeling, emotion. Emotion is emotion, energy in motion. All the time, hanky-panky, it is going here and there. All the time, it is putting your emotional climate into turbulence. Talk of the outer turbulence. तो आपको इस पे नजर रखनी पड़ेगी. And to look into that, you have to develop a vocabulary. आंख बंद करिए, feel करिए क्या महसूस कर रहा हूँ. I feel engaged in the session. This is emotion. Some of you might be feeling, I feel just bored. I'm not here. किसी के दिल में कुछ परेशानी चल रही होगी ना, कुछ दर्द चल रहा हो, कैसे यहाँ सेशन में आएगा? यू नो वो कहीं और engaged है. कुछ लोग और सोच रहे होंगे कि अब आगे क्या आने वाला ना, astonished, filled with wonder, what is going to come. There is a wonder sitting inside you. You should attend a session always with wonder, because not that everything we have found in this world, there are things which we have to discover. So we have to understand this art of understanding and identifying what emotions I have right now in me, and how do I do it, so that जब मैं खुद में अपने उस इमोशन को पहचानूंगा तो दूसरे आदमी में भी मैं पहचान पाऊंगा. जो आप खुद में नहीं पहचानते वो आप दूसरे में भी नहीं पहचान सकते. If somebody is very, इसीलिए कहते हैं ना, जो आदमी जिस चीज से बीमार है वो उसी का ही इलाज करता है. We pick up professions according to our own pain. If we have too much pain, we get into those kind of jobs where we will relieve the pain. क्योंकि दूसरे का पेन दूर करने से मेरा खुद का पेन दूर होता है. But the pain is there. At the bottom of all pain is sitting this existential pain, this separation of your inner self and the personality which you are. गौरव साहब, शिवानी साहब, जो भी आप अलग अलग लोग हैं ना, आपका इनर सेल्फ के साथ जो सेपरेशन हो रखा है, उसके साथ वो जो दर्द है, वो दर्द बॉटम में है. वहां से बयान होता है जिंदगी की आगे की कार्रवाई. So how do we do it? How do we manage these emotions? Just look at this video. It will teach you how to be aware of your emotional state, moment to moment. Heartfulness gives you tools, specific tools. They are very beautiful tools. Until you do those practices, you will not realize their importance. आप समझ नहीं पाएंगे उनकी क्या जरूरत है आपकी जिंदगी में. इस वीडियो को आप देखिए.
Everyone wants to live fully in the present. This is an ongoing
type yes on the chat box. I have paused it. Thank you, Akanta ji. Okay, I'm playing. It will be a little slow. Sometimes the network is not good here.
That we hear everywhere. Be in the moment. Seize the day. Live for right now. But very few people know what this means or how to actually implement it. We are continuously reacting to our environments. Someone cuts us off in traffic, we get angry. Someone laughs at us, we feel embarrassed. Someone breaks our heart, we find ourselves plummeted into a season of despair. These reactions feel visceral, impossible to dodge or avoid. And there is a reason for this. Most of our emotional reactions have deep roots in the past. They're part of an emotional pattern that has been deepened over time. It gets strengthened when we repeatedly entertain an emotion, when we repeatedly react in the same old way. Every time I react with anger, I become more likely to choose anger as a first response. That anger is always just under the surface, just waiting to come out. With every emotional reaction that we have, we deepen that same underlying emotional trend. Emotion is kind of like water. When water flows over the same ground, it slowly carves out a channel for itself. And eventually, it becomes a rushing river. As the riverbed becomes wider, the currents become stronger. When we react with anger or pain or shame over and over again, the more anger or pain or shame we draw into our lives, the currents become stronger. With every reaction, we're actually creating a blueprint for the future. We're creating a precedent or a template for how we're going to think or feel or behave the next time. And then, in the future, some external situation will come along and re-trigger that emotion yet again. If there was no anger already inside me, being cut off in traffic wouldn't frustrate me. If there wasn't any insecurity already ingrained in my psyche, then being laughed at wouldn't ruin my day. If there was no discomfort associated with being alone, then being single wouldn't feel like such an unconquerable inconvenience. We will never have full control over the circumstances in our lives, but we can learn to regulate our inner states so that our external circumstances don't have control over us. To do this, we need to address those deep impulses that orchestrate our emotional reactions. In fact, these impulses, which have their roots in the past, can actually be cleaned away through certain practices. But even if you adopt such a practice, that cleaning will still be a gradual process. In the meantime, we can also learn to become non-reactive to those deep impulses by tuning into the heart and remaining connected inside, we become capable of choosing a different response, of choosing joy or even gratitude. And the more we learn to live from the heart, the more we realize that we do in fact have a choice. We can choose to react according to the same old patterns, or we can choose to respond with the heart instead and become free from those burdens of the past. With every reflexive reaction that we have, we give up our free will a little bit and allow ourselves to be controlled by our tendencies instead. With every heartful response, we become free. The more we use our hearts in our lives, the less impact our circumstances have on us, and the more freedom we gain.
So, what did you learn from this video? आपको इस वीडियो से I am just unmuting all of you once again, allowing you to unmute yourself. Some of you can just say a few words. What you understood? Do you have any question, anything to share? Please.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please. Your name, please. Ayush Mishra.
A very good evening, sir. So my name is Ayush Mishra. And
yes,
so
Ayush.
First of all, I would like to thank you, sir, for this session. You have my gratitude, sir. And sir, from this video particular, there is one particular sentence which really prezzled my mind. So which is that with every heartful response, we become free. So that line. So I really loved that line, sir.
That struck a chord in your heart. Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Just repeat that once again to all. What was that line?
So with every heartful response, we become free.
Very good. Wonderful. So here, what he is talking about is that when you are centered in your heart, you are able to separate the stimulus from the response. And you have a gap in between. You have a gap to choose from. You don't just get carried away. You do not become football of others' opinion. किसी ने आप कहते हैं ना उड़ता हुआ तीर हम लोग ले लेते हैं. आपको बोला ही नहीं था, किसी और को बोला था, लेकिन आपने सोचा मुझे बोला है. क्यों आपको ऐसा लगा? Where did it hit? कहाँ पे prick हो रहा है ये? Because we are too much attached with ourselves. You know, we are attached with ourselves. But when we attend to our heart, attend to our emotions, moment to moment, then we separate ourselves. You know, the observer comes into being. अभी हमारा दृष्टा ऑब्जर्वर है ही नहीं. अभी हम लोग पूरे के पूरे उसमें शामिल हो रखे हैं मेले में. लेकिन you have to separate yourself, ना, to take control, to take emotional self-control. That will happen when you will observe without evaluating, you know, not labeling. That is what this video is telling you. What are the constituents? What are the ingredients of healthy relationship? Conversation is one. Awareness is another. Until you are aware, attentive, sensitive, alert, you cannot know what's going on in your heart, in the deepest recesses and chambers of your heart. Until you appreciate. Who would like to interact with a person who is toxic? लोग सब avoid करते हैं उस इंसान को. कोई इंसान कमरे में आता है तो पूरा कमरा एकदम रोशन हो जाता है. It's like a lighthouse. कोई लगता है कोई आया है कमरे में. Why? Because that person is carrying those positive emotions. Measure करते हैं लोग leaders का, ना, those who speak from the podium, उनका पूरा aura measure करते हैं लोग. He has such a positive, she has such a positive aura. When she comes, she walks into the room begins to change. Awareness. She is cultivating, harnessing, nurturing the positive emotions. जब आप बार बार उस positive emotion पे ध्यान देते हो, heartfulness meditation में वो emotion क्या है? The seat of the emotion, the thought which we all the time focus, the source of divine light in my heart. When you focus on that heart, you know, you nurture that idea, the source of divine light in your heart. You begin to expand. You know, your whole being is engulfed in that thought. Then your relationship become beautiful. Automatically, people begin to come close to you, without your invitation. They begin to ask you, they begin to pat you. So conversation is another thing. Conversation is a way to get into beautiful relationship. We don't have so much time today, but it is itself a huge topic. We have a topic in Discover, Discover, it's called Heartful Conversation. That will take 1 to 2 hours. So we need to have sweet conversation. A conversation which has the understanding that what the other person's need is. The communication which is not violent. The conversation which is trying to bring the reality to the surface. और जो हकीकत बयान कर रहा है. The conversation which is going into a direction to find out something, a discovery. That kind of a conversation we need to have. Very polite, not trying to hurt anyone. When the heart is a very tender thing. It's a very vulnerable thing. It gets hurt by the words. These invisible bombs, the word bombs. Sabd bomb. Kya hai? You cannot fathom their powers. They are invisible, elusive things. But when you wield that power, with beauty, with honey, with taste, then there is a different flavor to the relationship. Awareness. Awareness is increased by meditation. When you maintain a diary, note down what's going on inside you. Appreciation. Appreciation is one emotion when you cultivate, when you appreciate people. You need to be a good person to be able to appreciate others. Appreciate people. Why do people walk over there? When nobody appreciates you, you will feel isolated. When somebody appreciates, you will feel included. Include everyone. Observations versus evaluation. Our communication should be geared towards observation without evaluation. Observing without evaluating is one of the highest forms of intelligence. That forms very beautiful relationship. We don't judge anyone. Like Shakespeare said, familiarity breeds contempt. When you know somebody very much, you begin to fight. And what can you know? आप इंसान को जानते क्या हो? आप जिस इंसान के साथ 50 साल से रह रहे हो, आप उसे भी नहीं जानते. The human being is a mystery. But until you dive inside your own mystery, you will be able to understand the mystery of other person. Then you will be able to handle with care. Handle with care. Understanding the need. दूसरे इंसान की नीड को समझना. Suppose कोई रिलेशनशिप में आपसे झूठ बोल रहा है. You should not immediately blurt out that why are you lying to me? Try to understand why that person is saying a lie to you. वो झूठ क्यों बोल रहा है आपसे? उसके झूठ के पीछे की कारण को समझिए. Then you will win people. कई बार वो झूठ इसलिए बोलता है कि आपका दिल न टूटे या आपके साथ वो जुड़ा रहे, उसलिए भी झूठ बोलता है. वो झूठ नहीं है. झूठ और सच की बहुत अलग-अलग definitions हैं. But they might lie to you. But you are not judging them. A very elevated, generous, big human being, big-hearted being. Do not judge anyone. He walks very serenely between them. That is the way we form healthy relationship. Meditation is the foundation. ध्यान वो चीज है जिससे आप इन सारे के सारे गुणों का विकास करते हैं. और मैं आपको ये बताना चाहता हूं कि ये जो गुण हैं, ये एक दिन के ध्यान में विकसित नहीं होंगे. There have been people who have been meditating for thousands of years. People climb to Mount Everest. Why? Acclimatization. वो Mount Everest पे जब चढ़ते हैं, आपने सुना होगा ना? You have seen that movie, the Everest. Somebody has written a book called The Thin Air, Into the Thin Air. In 1996, many people died climbing Mount Everest. When they climb the Mount Everest, वो एक नीचे बेस कैंप से ऊपर के कैंप में जाते हैं. Because I myself is a mountain climber, so I feel that feeling. Until you climb a mountain, you will not be able to relate to me, but still try to understand what I'm saying. आप जब एक कैंप से दूसरे कैंप में जाते हैं, फिर वापस आते हैं नीचे आते हैं, तो क्यों आते हैं वापस? एक्लिमेटाइज करने के लिए. उस जगह का आपको मौसम का पता नहीं है. माउंट एवरेस्ट की चोटी पे 1/3 ऑक्सीजन लेवल है मीन सी लेवल से, तो लोग सप्लीमेंटल ऑक्सीजन लगा के जाते हैं. वहां का मौसम जो है वो बिल्कुल अलग है, तो आपको वहां जाने के लिए प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी. Similarly, when you go inside your heart, आपका हार्ट का जो मौसम है, it is very different. अभी तो हम बाहर हैं, तो हमको बाहर के मौसम में हम लोग एक्लिमेटाइज हो गए. But when you go inside your heart, going into the moon, चंद्रमा पे जाना, living underwater, they are external adventures. But the real adventure is to go inside your center. अपने केंद्र पे जाओ आप. That is the adventure which is propelled by meditation. So I invite you for a beautiful small session of meditation. I'm just read few of the chat box responses. Okay, anyway, listen to your heart. So I'm just stopping here for a brief session of giving you a taste of relaxation and meditation. Who has any question can just ask a few questions, or we will take up the question after meditation because we have only 20 minutes left. Sister Salini, are you there? Madhurima ma'am, can we start the relaxation and meditation?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
It will be a good time.
Shalini ma'am is also there.
Okay, wonderful, great. I have unmuted all. So just I will request सारे जितने भी participant हैं, मैं आप सबसे request करूँगा कि आप सब लोग एक, अगर आपके पास एक डायरी है तो उस डायरी को लेके बैठें. Just keep a diary and a pen with you so that after the meditation how you feel, आपको कैसा लगता है, तो उसको नोट कर सके. जिनके पास डायरी नहीं है, अभी कॉपी नोटबुक नहीं है, they can make a mental note कि अभी आप कैसा फील कर रहे हैं और आफ्टर द मेडिटेशन रिलैक्सेशन आप कैसा फील करेंगे. So please, I'm just again I'm just muting all of you so that we are not disturbed, and you remain in the listening mode. I will give you some instructions for the relaxation, and then I will guide you through the meditation. You should not feel that meditation is a very boring thing, closing in our eyes. In the meditation, what we are doing is we're trying to sit with our own self. We are trying to become intimate with our inner self, so that with that intimacy, I'm able to react, interact, and respond with people outside with the same intimacy. So 3 things. You have to be silent because the inner self knows only one language, that is silence. So we have to maintain silence. Second thing, we have to sit with an attitude of, a reverence, a kind of a loving attitude towards our inner self. You cannot sit like this and with the anger, with the beautiful feeling you sit. That is the second thing. And third thing, that you sit in a upright position with your backbone erect and at a comfortable place. So these are the only 3 requirements. Silent your mobile phones. If you want to take a glass of water, you can take. I'll just give you 1 minute. You've been listening too much. I'm sorry if I've been speaking too loud. If your ears are hurt, just take a 1 minute gap and then we will begin. So please gently close your eyes. हल्के से आप अपनी आंखें बंद कर लें. We are first going to relax ourselves. Relaxation is necessary so that you can meditate in a nice way. So it becomes a prerequisite. तो हिंदी में मैं इंस्ट्रक्शन दूंगा, सभी लोग के लिए आसान होगा. Just take a deep breath in and breath out. एक गहरी लंबी सांस लें और सांस छोड़ दें. विश्राम. एकदम चिंता मुक्त होके बैठे, रिलैक्स होके बैठे. चलिए पैरों की उंगलियों से शुरू करते हैं. अपना अटेंशन अपने पैर की उंगलियों पर ले आए. चाहे तो अपने पैर की उंगलियों को हल्के से घुमाएं so that you can feel it. महसूस करें धरती माँ से एक हीलिंग एनर्जी, एक स्वास्थ्यप्रद ऊर्जा आपके पैरों में प्रवेश कर रही है। और आपके पंजे, तलवे, एड़ियों को रिलैक्स कर रही है, आराम पहुंचा रही है। विश्राम। महसूस करें यह स्वास्थ्यप्रद ऊर्जा आपके पैरों में ऊपर की तरफ बढ़ रही है और घुटने और पैरों के मध्य आपकी पिंडलियों को, द काफ मसल्स को रिलैक्स कर रही है। आराम पहुंचा रही है। पैरों को बिल्कुल ढीला छोड़ दें। ये ऊर्जा आपके पैरों से ऊपर बढ़ रही है और आपकी थाइस की मांसपेशियों को रिलैक्स कर रही है। आपका पूरा पैर रिलैक्स हो गया है, तनाव मुक्त हो गया है। हल्के से अपने ध्यान को अपनी सीट पे ले आए। योर हिप्स, एब्डोमिनल मसल्स, पेट की मांसपेशियां, एंड द एंटायर पेल्विक एरिया is getting relaxed. सारा तनाव, थकान बाहर निकल जाने दें। विश्राम। आहिस्ता से अपने ध्यान को अपने पीठ की तरफ ले आए, ऑन योर बैक साइड। ट्राई टू फील, महसूस करें कि आपकी पूरी पीठ दोनों कंधों के बीच, गर्दन से लेकर के मेरुदंड के निचले सिरे तक तनाव मुक्त हो रही है। ऐसा महसूस करें सारा तनाव, थकान, अकड़न आपकी पीठ से बाहर निकल रहा है। योर बैक इज रिलैक्स्ड, आपकी पीठ रिलैक्स हो गई है। जेंटली, बहुत आहिस्ता से अपने ध्यान को अपनी छाती पे ले आए, ऑन द चेस्ट एरिया, एंटायर चेस्ट एरिया। महसूस करें आपकी छाती गहरे चैनो सुकून में डूबी हुई है। It is getting relaxed. अपने कंधों को ढीला छोड़ दें, as if they are melting, मानो वो पिघल रहे हो। आपके बाजू, दोनों हाथों के बाजू कोहनी, कोहनी से हथेली तक का भाग, your palms, हथेलियां, the back side of the palm, right up to the fingertips are relaxed. सारा तनाव, थकान मानो आपके हाथ की उंगलियों के पोरों से बाहर निकल रहा है. अपनी गर्दन को हल्के से घुमाएं और महसूस करें आपकी गर्दन की मांसपेशियां रिलैक्स हो रही हैं. And your neck muscle is relaxed. अपने चेहरे पे अपने ध्यान को ले आएं. चेहरे की त्वचा का जो ये तनाव है उसे ढीला छोड़ दें. Let all the tension go away from your facial muscles. Relax your jawbone. अपने जबड़ों को ढीला छोड़ दें. आपके ओंठ, कान, ईयरलोब्स, eyes. Feel that your eyes are very gently, very softly closed. आपकी आंखें बहुत ही हल्के से मुंदी हुई हैं. आपका माथा, right up to the top of your head, is relaxed, calm. Try to feel your entire skull. अपने पूरे सर को महसूस करें, especially the back side of your skull. सर के पृष्ठ भाग को भी बिल्कुल शांत कर लें. आपका पूरा शरीर, आपके from the top of your head up to your feet is completely and deeply relaxed. पूरी तरह से शांत हो चुका है. आहिस्ता से अपने मन को अपने छाती की तरफ मोड़ लें. Try to feel your chest area. अपने हृदय को महसूस करें. As you focus on your heart, you will feel a little calmness reading. एक गहरी शांति आपके भीतर बढ़ने लगेगी. अपने मन में यह ख्याल लें, यह धारणा लें कि आपका हृदय दिव्य प्रकाश से भरा हुआ है. Your heart is filled with divine light. यह दिव्य प्रकाश का स्रोत आपके हृदय को भीतर से प्रकाशित कर रहा है, आलोकित कर रहा है, आकर्षित कर रहा है। इस दिव्य प्रकाश के स्रोत को किसी वस्तु विशेष के रूप में देखने की कोशिश न करें, उसे ख्याल ले लें और उस पर अपने मन को टिकाने की कोशिश करें। इस दिव्य प्रकाश में निहित दिव्य प्रेम को महसूस करने की कोशिश करें। Try to feel the love and light in your heart. Don't force your brain too much. Just very gently disengage your head and fall down in your heart. अपने आप को हृदय की गहराई में पूर्णतः डूब जाने दें और खो जाने दें। That's all. बस करें. Just try to take the stock of your inner condition. Just see your emotional state. आप क्या महसूस कर रहे हैं? And write down that emotion or a state of your mind in your diary, or just make a note of it. And as you wish, if you are out of the meditation now, gently open your eyes and come back. Please maintain silence. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Patil, it was a very nice session and relaxing one. And hope the participants have enjoyed. If you want to say something or ask any question, you are most welcome. Somebody was asking in between, and
Yeah,
if the question is unanswered, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, we can take few questions if they have. कुछ प्रश्न हो, कुछ दिल में कुछ बात हो,
प्रश्न हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं.
और मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा सभी लोगों से एक बार थोड़ा वीडियो ऑन करें, so that I remember who are the people in the as a participant. एक बार सभी अपना वीडियो ऑन करें, can have a look on each other. How will we make relationship? We don't even look at each other. This is the demerit of the pandemic time. We cannot even look at people.
Friends, you are requested to switch on your cameras, please. Please switch on your cameras for a while.
We are good to see you.
Good, great. Lovely faces. Why are you putting on your cameras off? One Shakshena. Very good. Wonderful. Gaurav.
So you can have a click when the cameras are on. It's good to see them all and have a click.
Yes. You can have a heart click. Yes. Together hearts. Good. Good to see all of them. Khushi is there. Yes, wonderful.
Yeah, if somebody is asking a few questions, RB to everyone. Sir, what kind of environment needed for meditation?
Sir, what kind of environment needed for meditation? RB. RB Saab, can you switch on your video and speak this question? आप एक बार इस क्वेश्चन को बोल लें तो हमें पता लगेगा आप कहाँ हो. You're lost in all these screens. Anyway, you cannot unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? अभी आप unmute कर सकते हैं अपने आप को?
Yes, I know.
हाँ, yes. RB जी बोलिए, आप अपने प्रश्न को बोलिए. Anyway, you want to ask anonymously. Anyway, no problem. So, what kind of environment needed for meditation? ध्यान के लिए एक ऐसा environment हो, एक self space हो आपका, जहाँ पे corner कहीं घर पे, जहाँ पर you are relatively not in a disturbed state, जहाँ पर आप बहुत हल्ला गुल्ला से थोड़ा दूर हो, थोड़ा शांत हो, थोड़ा सा प्योर हो, साफ सुथरा हो, एक ऐसा स्थान आप घर पे बनाएं, तो वो आपको ध्यान में गहराई में जाने में मदद करेगा. We advise this thing. But if you don't have such a place, you can meditate the place which you have. जो है आपके पास, वहाँ पर आप ध्यान करें.
My experience is that if we choose a same place every day, so it helps. If we keep on changing places, then it can be a distraction. And where you meditate, the room should be not be cluttered, should be clean, neat and clean. And बहुत ज़्यादा सामान ना हो, बहुत ज़्यादा cluttered ना हो, ये सारी चीजें आप I'm sharing my experience.
Yes. True, बिल्कुल true. एक जगह पर बार-बार आप कोई काम करते हैं तो उस जगह का वातावरण फिर वैसा हो जाता है ना. You prepare that place for your meditation, for your this ritual.
Sir, may I?
Yes. Ayush, please.
A very good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Sir, with due respect, sir, there was one line that you said, and sir, I'm really sorry to say that, but I disagree with that line.
Yes, we can agree to disagree. That is relationship. Please go ahead.
Sir, I have noted down it in my diary that you said our behavior with ourselves decides our behavior with others.
Yes, yes, I said that.
Yes, sir. So in that line, sir, I know a person who is really nihilistic. I mean, he always tries to, defame himself from him, but he does not try to, so demotivate others. I mean, his behavior towards himself is totally antagonistic his behavior towards others. So that I disagree with this point, sir. Because there are people who are very, shallow from within and very, they are having conflict in their own mind. They are not happy at all, but still they make other happy. So, sir, this line I.
Thank you for sharing that. Ayush, what do you study? आप वहाँ पे क्या पढ़ रहे हैं?
Sir, I'm a student of University of Lucknow.
नहीं, वहाँ पे क्या subject आप पढ़ रहे हैं?
So physics, mathematics, and computer science. Computer science minor.
I am trying to know you. You see, this nihilistic movement, once upon a time started in Europe. People were writing books on existential crisis, existentialism, starting from, Dostoevsky from Russia, and then Friedrich Nietzsche in Europe, and, Soren Kierkegaard, and nihilistic tendencies. Who is a nihilist? A nihilist is a person who has no belief on anything. वो किसी चीज पर भरोसा ही नहीं करता है. He has negated the God. He is an atheist. So when you do not believe in anything, then what will you believe into? You become nihilistic. Nihilistic is a tendency to go into nihilism. Nothingness में घुस रहा है. The way back, author wrote this book, Being in Nothingness. हम लोग तो इस nothingness के स्वयं से बाहर आए हैं ना. वहीं से तो आए हम लोग. तो उसका डर हमेशा हमें रहता है. लेकिन आप जो बोल रहे हैं कि कोई एक ऐसा पर्सन है, वो ऐसा इस तरीके का उसका एटीट्यूड है, सेल्फ नेगेटिंग, self attacking, self inflicting these tendencies. So what I was trying to say is that the attitude I have with my inner self, मेरा belief system जो है, वही attitude मेरा बाहर होता है. So that person might have, I'm not necessarily say it have, I do not know him. That person might be harboring an attitude towards his inner self of total negation, no belief in the inner self. Because atheist is not a person who does not believe in God. He's a person who does not believe in oneself. How do you know that you are alive? You feel it now. So you have to put your belief on someone. So what I was trying to say is that that person's relationship with his inner self is one of negation. He has been negating himself. That is coming in his personality. That was my point. Mr. Ji, is it making sense?
A little bit, partially, sir. That
Ayush, yeah. May I add something? You please carry on. You carry on, please.
I'm done. You carry on.
Ayush wanted to say something. First, I would give him a chance. He want to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, my question, sir, I partially understood what you're trying to say, and I agree with the statement. Sir, my disagreement with you was not that you are saying it wrong. Definitely not, sir. So my negation was that there was that person who is negating from himself, but he is really positive and really humble to others. That was my point, sir.
Ayush, there is a very important point over here. I want to stress, compassion. Generally, when we try to do social service and we try to serve other people, we become very, we are not compassionate towards our own self. आप किसी के साथ रिश्ते में आए, आप उसके साथ तो बहुत compassionate हो, लेकिन आप, you are sacrificing yourself too much. And there is a limit, you will buckle down. There is a limit, you will buckle down. And you will say कि आप खुद के प्रति self compassion नहीं है. So until I am compassionate towards myself, there is a limit I can be compassionate towards other person. वो आदमी जो दूसरे के प्रति compassionate है, that's a very good thing. But he is not compassionate to himself. And that is not a very good thing. He should be compassionate towards himself first. Thank you. Ayush, yes.
I just want to say something. Since we are from psychology background, so we would just want to say that it is better not to be judgmental for others. So if you say that the person is nihilistic, you might be having experiences that he is nihilistic. But all of us are in a pathway of a journey. So from the basis of your part of experiences, one should not make judgments about the others that the person is nihilistic. Maybe he might be trying something to understand one's own self, right? And if we want to help others in a real sense, at first we have to help our own self. And it is the ground theory that if we want to connect with the other people, first we have to make connection with our own self. If the person is helping to others, it may not be possible that he might not continue to help others in coming days. हो सकता है आज वो मदद कर रहा है लेकिन थोड़े समय के बाद वो ना कर पाए, और ऐसा ही होगा, क्योंकि अगर आप खुद से कंपैशनेट नहीं है, अपने से आपका रिश्ता नहीं है, तो आप दूसरों के साथ वो रिश्ता कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाएंगे. तो पहला रिश्ता खुद से, तो पहला कनेक्शन अपने इनर सेल्फ से होना चाहिए, तब आप एक साउंड पर्सनालिटी और एक मीन्स कहना चाहिए कॉम्पिटेंट पर्सनालिटी बनते हैं, जिससे कि आप दूसरों से कनेक्ट हो पाए. और आज का जो सेशन था, सर ने ये बताया कि वी हैव टू मेक कनेक्शन, वी हैव टू मेक हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप्स. तो अगर हम अपने को निगेट करके दूसरों की मदद कर रहे हैं तो ज्यादा समय हम नहीं कर पाएंगे.
It is not sustainable.
It will not be sustainable.
I'll tell you, Ayush, there is a theory in psychology called learned helplessness. This is a learned helplessness. You would have heard. जब prolonged time पे कोई आदमी hopelessness का शिकार हो जाता है, तो वो helplessness उसके he is primed to that helplessness. So we need to help him. We need to help him, because by helping him, by caring, we are also caring some part of our own self. So this priming, this learned helplessness also is a thing in which people becomes trapped. They do not come out
Happy
of it.
that Ayush is in our university. If you have any query, any more connection, you can come to our department. You come to our Happy Thinking Laboratory, which is open for 2 days for all the students of the university on Wednesday and Thursday between 2 to 4. You can come and we can discuss it further.
Actually, ma'am, there was one more thing which I wanted to share. It's a little bit absurd. So I was
yes, absurdism itself is a philosophy. Please go ahead.
No, sir. Sir, actually, when you asked us that when you are feeling, so you gave us an example that if you're in this world and you're feeling conflicted or you're not feeling good, you're feeling lonely, who do you think of? And sir, majority of my colleagues and fellow mates were saying parents, mom, dad. But sir, unfortunately, I do not think of my parents at that point of time, but there is an imaginary person in my mind. For example, let's say, sir, I write poems and there is an imaginary person in my poem. I think of that person hugging me. So it was, I was a little bit insecure to write that down. So that's why.
Wonderful. You said it right now. That was
it's okay.
It's a beautiful thing to have. I said it's a beautiful thing to have. And we will explore that invisible person as we meditate more. Who is that person? Maybe sometimes he will manifest in our life as we meditate.
It's good that you are mindful of your own feelings and thoughts. And it's a primary step कि अगर आप अपने बारे में सोच रहे हैं कि आप ऐसा नहीं कर रहे हैं जैसा लोग कर रहे हैं, तो it's not कोई इसमें बुराई नहीं है. आपके यूथ के जो स्टेज है उसमें कुछ लोग ऐसा कर सकते हैं, उसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है. But at least you are thinking about your own emotions and thoughts. So it's good. And we can have further discussions in future if you want. Okay. So over to you, Dr. Nagma, for extending a formal vote of thanks.
Shall we conclude the session now?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so I would request Mr. Karamveer to say the vote of thanks to the resource person. He very beautifully explained the concept of relationship and how important relationships are in our life. And I hope students will be benefited from his lecture today. Thank you so much, sir. Karamveer, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening to everyone again. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks. On the behalf of Heartful Laboratory and entire fraternity of Department of Psychology, extend to my sincere gratitude to you, sir. You spared time from busy schedule to increase this session. आपने जो खासकर रिश्तों के लिए जो आज बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम्स बन गई हैं, ये मुझे लगता है कि ये हम सब के लिए, खासकर युवाओं के लिए, ये बहुत ज़्यादा एक वैल्यूबल सेशन रहा है और जिसकी हमें ज़रूरत है, हम सबको ज़रूरत है. और इवन वो एज आज जो केसेस, डाइवोर्स के केसेस हों या ब्रेकअप्स के केसेस हो, ये सारी चीज़ें I think we need to understand. So today we have an opportunity to hear your thought, and this truly made this day enlightening for us. Today we have got a lot of information which truly help us in our life. You gave deep insight into our topic and revealed some interesting facts also. I special mention to our respected director of Happy Thinking Laboratory, Professor Madhurima Gudanman, who blessed us with their presence. Salini Mehrotra ma'am, Dr. Alok Chaudhary sir, we also thank you. I would like to thank all the respective participants and students for their valuable presence and participants. Thank you so much. Allah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gambhir. Thank you, Dr. Nagma, and everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.